Yeah, go ahead and start.
But as they were going the other way, is really into, I'm glad how the governor's.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please, and we will have everybody rise. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody to the York County Board of Commissioner meeting, August 20th. Roll call, please.
Groats.
Present.
Bowman.
Present.
Ott.
Present.
Sykes. Obermeyer.
Here, open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers, is in the hallway outside of our chambers. It is also on our website. Proof of publication was in the News Times August 15th and also on our website. Next up, we need to review and approve the minutes of our August 6th Board of Commissioner meeting. Should have had that info.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. And then we need to adopt today's agenda.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groats.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Officials forum this morning. Morning, Harv.
everyone.
Just a quick update, the bridge on the west bridge on Road 22 could be opened, but we did not open it. We have not built the approaches to it because we're doing the rest of the mile of rebuilding it because it was on the 1 in 6 plan or the 1 year plan. So we are getting that all done, so when we probably, if everything goes well and Mother Nature works with us, we should be able to get that open next week. But we have to gravel or rock that whole mile is what we have to do now. So, other than that, that's kind of where we are. We're hauling gravel, lighting roads, and mentioned Road M last 2 weeks ago. Talked to the state engineer. That first girder has to be replaced completely. That's an AASHTO girder. I think they said it would be built in Kansas City and shipped up here. They have to put it out for bids to replace this. So if that road is probably not going to get open until the end of the year, maybe the first of next, depending on what Mother Nature throws at them for winter. So that's where that goes.
We can plead innocent on that one, though.
Oh,
That was out of our
It has
hands.
nothing to do with the county at all. It is all the state and somebody that did not put their box down before they got on the interstate. That's all I know about it. But yeah, we just have to do. We just aren't going to get any traffic on Road M between 9 and 10 for a long time. So that's all I got.
The couple of calls that I've had here recently has been about mowing ditches. Are we noticing that's not getting done? I know this time of year.
I don't get excited about starting to mow ditches until about frost time so that we don't get regrowth once we start getting over them. So
Those are the ones we control, but I mean the ones that we ask our property owners to do a couple times a year.
some property owners are fantastic and keep them really trimmed up nicely. Some don't do it at all. Where it is.
So we just need to put out a plea to ask for a little bit of assistance to help us with
Yes.
this, please.
That'd be awesome if they would take care of it. State statute says they're supposed to mow and take care of the trees and brush.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Thanks, Harv. Anything else, guys, for Harvey this morning?
Well,
Thank you. Any other officials this morning? Seeing none get up, we'll move on to the public comment. At this time, the public can come forward and comment if they would like for a couple minutes. Morning, Willard.
Morning. Willard Peterson, 514 Road 13. I'm from Bradshaw. I thought you were looking disappointed because I haven't been up here for a while. Okay, two things. At the budget first. When you're thinking about the budget and so forth, I know last year it was really easy to trim some things, and I'm talking about the things that help people or try to keep people out of trouble, or in general trying to keep people out of jail. Those seem to be some things that seem easy to cut, because sometimes you guys say you don't know if it does any good. Also been talk here about building a new jail. All I will say is, in the long run, if you don't think about some of those things during the budget, then you better build a way bigger jail. And I think anybody that's anybody that thinks about it at all would understand that, because it's already bad. Now, in regard to your what do you call it? The advisory board for redoing the zoning and planning stuff, for redoing the whole book. Okay, you guys came up with the idea of having the whole board and the whole zoning board, which I don't really have a problem with, but it was suggested by the consultant that possibly some, or the way I understood it, maybe some just other people on there. I just want you guys to remember, the people on that zoning and planning, how did they get on there? Because you guys voted them on. So the people I've talked to say, well, it kind of looks like they just want to do it. I also heard the reasoning why you didn't want a whole lot of people on there, and I understand that too. So we like to live by the lottery in this state for some reason. So, because the one comment was, well, we don't want an advisory board of 100 people, and I agree. But you guys can decide what it was, and then just put some Joe Blows or Ann Blows or whoever on there. And if you get a whole bunch of them, you guys get to decide how big that advisory board is, so pick a number. And if you get way too many people, like I said, we live by the lottery, so pull out a bunch of names, and at least from my point of view, and people, when I said what that advisory board was, they said, well, where's just the real people? But they did. And so I would ask you maybe reconsider that. And yes, you're not going to make everybody happy, you're not going to whatever, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you, Willard. Anybody else from the public this morning?
Good morning.
Morning, Tony.
Tony King, 150 Rose Street, Gresham. I'm here this morning in the capacity of the chairman of the board for the village of Gresham. My concerns here are stemming from the discovery of this glitch that the assessor's office is explaining as the reason for the errors that have occurred in regards to property valuations. Since 2022, I've been keeping track of Gresham's progress in its village valuations on my own personal spreadsheet. Progress has been made, and as of March of this year, data loaded into the SAM website came in at 9.4 million, up from 8 million. Forward to this month, I've received my notice that my valuation for my personal property went down considerably. That spurred me to visit the SAM website again. In doing so, I discovered that not only mine, but the village went down to 7.2 million, losing 2.2 million. I voiced my concern with the assessor's office. The values of the SAM website then were adjusted to 7.6 million. 7.6 is 459,000 less than than last year's valuation of $8 million. I'm here to tell you that there's no way that Gresham has lost $500,000 in value. If anything, it has gone up with the activity of sales this year alone. The board is very upset as we spent all summer planning a $1.8 million Main Street project, and now with this revelation, we will have to cancel that project. I feel that Gresham is paying dearly for this glitch that is happening here. I would ask that you reconsider certifying Gresham's valuation of anything less than $8.5 million. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Tony.
You bet.
Anybody else this morning? No one? Okay, we'll keep moving on. There is no general assistance cases that I'm aware of today. Next up is a review and approve payroll and vendor claims. Everybody have an opportunity to look at those.
Looks like we have a new vehicle for the sheriff's department.
Yeah, that was the only one that I had a question on, whether that was one that was part of this year's budget that hasn't been approved yet. It seems like we got just a little bit ahead, cart in front of the horse on that one. So that one, I would like a little bit of clarification on, if we could get it. I know there's nobody here right now from the sheriff's department. Josh will be in after 9 o'clock to talk about the commissary. And so if we wanted to hold up on approving these until then,
Sure.
I'd be happy about that, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up then, we will meet with Randy Jones with Aging Partners with update and budget request. And Lori, I think, is going to accompany. Morning, Randy.
Good morning, Randy.
Yes. While she's passing out, if you want to give name and address for the record, please.
My name is Randall Jones. I'm the Director of Aging Partners, 600 South 70th Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. So as mentioned, I'm Director of Aging Partners. Aging Partners is an agency that's recognized by the feds and the state as being an area agency on aging. Every county in the state of Nebraska and every county in the country is covered by an area agency on aging. And our responsibilities are to implement state and federal programs related to aging services. And today, I'm here with our annual request for funding and to talk about the services that are provided, as well as the amount that will be included in the interlocal agreement with Kewett County. So these numbers do not reflect your non-area agency supported transportation program, which is a significant portion of what your program does in the county. But aside from that, last year we served 563 individuals with a total of 38,800 total units. And that represents 19% of the county citizens that are age 65 and over. If you look at the population projections, we've covered this in past years, and we're seeing a tremendous growth. And this is largely the baby boomer age that's influencing this lift, and they're getting older. And as they get older, particularly in their 80s, they require more services. So right now we're of course in 2024. Between 2015 and 2030, there's a 32% lift in the number of seniors in York County. below are the percentage of residents reached in these various age groups. So right now, 19% of the persons aged 65 and over are being reached, and 26% aged 85. Of course, the 85 group is the most concerning, again, because more services are needed by this group. As we get into these increases, not only do our services increase, but also public services, such as fire and rescue. Some of the largest calls that communities receive are to assist fallen seniors who fall. On second page, what we're seeing as it relates to increased services in the center is particularly meals. And what we're seeing is about the same number of people, perhaps a little less of unduplicated people, but they're eating more frequently, which is a sign of two things. Either your cook is very good, and they're coming back for more, or they're becoming more dependent on the meals in the center. And this is happening consistently across the 7 counties that we serve. As we list the services down here, you see the $47.95 meals. That's an increase, and there's also been a 5% increase in state-based transportation. These are the services that are largely provided locally, but we also enhance these services with some care management services. So we manage what's called Medicaid waiver. The Medicaid waiver program is a way of us keeping seniors in their homes when otherwise they'd be in a nursing home. It could be a nursing home locally or a nursing home elsewhere. When they reach, and this is for Medicaid recipients, when they reach a point where they have 3 deficiencies of living, such as maybe eating, medication, clothing, bathing, when they're absent of 3 of those, they would qualify for nursing home care. What we do is develop a care plan to provide services into their home. And that saves the taxpayer dollars, because if we put them in a nursing home, it could cost $8,000 or more a month. Where in-home services, generally around $2,000 is the average. We've also conducted 15 assessments for SCO, and those, basically that is determining eligibility for Medicaid recipients to enter into nursing homes when that is inevitable. And then our general casework and state care management, we have 21 cases that we currently manage. I should mention on the Medicaid waiver, the 26, those residents receive ongoing support services and ongoing case management from our team. So we may have people that are on that program for a couple years, and that counts as one client of this 26. Our contribution request this year is a 2.5% increase over last year, which is $41,231. And that goes to support the programs we just talked about, but also the support that you see at the bottom of the page. And our interlocal agreement will reflect funds from the state through Aging Partners of $81,691. I'd like to address any questions the commissioners have.
The in-home services that we provide, and that number, as you stated, was $2,000 to compared to $8,000 to keep them in their homes.
On Medicaid waiver.
Run on Medicaid waiver. Do we find that that's usually like a 2-year average or so that they stick around or able to stay at home, which is a great thing?
Commissioner, I don't know the average number. I've not asked that question before. But yes, we've seen people on the program for multiple years, 7 years. But generally they're in a state where they're declining physically. And so generally the prospects of being on that list for more than 2 years is limited.
Okay. Because sometimes we see, in my shop, I see 80-year-olds that come in, look like 60s, and then the next one, 80-year-old looks like 100,
That's right.
so they're all different, but if we can keep them there, that's a good point.
And this is going to be our challenge mutually in the future is the seniors are growing older with more health, and they're going to live longer, which means that we'll have a delay in their demand or need for services. So that gives us an opportunity to focus on some things that are related to prevention and education so that they can remain healthy.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Jones this morning? I believe these numbers are in the budget already, so.
Thank you. We appreciate the partnership
Yep,
very much.
absolutely. Well, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It truly is. Leroy, anything?
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And then Lori, you'll get those.
You got.
Thank you. Okay. We're gonna hold off on, like say Josh has got a DARE class. He gets out of his DARE class, in between two DARE classes, so he'll be here at 9:15, 9:20, somewhere in there. Discuss and act on funding transfers. We do have a transfer that we need to utilize. If you look at the very last of the vendor and payroll, it's got our sheets in there of where all the funds sit. And if you look at the 1700 fund, it needs, every year, we transfer money over to the state institutions. We've had a tremendous amount of EPCs already in the first couple months of this budget year. So we need to move the 10,000 that's in the budget out of 100 into that fund. And just, usually we take care of that transfer a little bit later, but it's currently it's about 1,000, I think you see there, balance as of 8/15/24, 6182, and it's got a $7,900 claim in there, or multiple claims, I think, right, Mary, to take care of it. So we will need to move by resolution, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
On a funding transfer, 10,000 from general 100 to 1,700.
Got a motion to adopt that resolution?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding that?
Not on that one. Is there 1,300? Do you have to do anything with that one?
No,
or
it should be good.
Okay.
As of 8/15, it had 22,000 in there.
Okay.
So we should be good on that one. And then, of course, our budget will take care of,
I see.
any
Now I see
incoming
what's
on that
going
one
on.
too.
Yep.
Okay. Yes. Any others? Roll call.
Groves.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, next up, I would ask Alex Sadoff to come forward, and if Sally, you're coming with? Sally is, she can't. Sally is the chair of our advisory committee for the Visitors Bureau, and we all know that Bob is retiring, wanting to retire at the end of this month, first of next. We went through a series, Sally and myself went through a series of interviews a week ago, and we came down to 2. Maddie was on vacation at the time. We had Maddie call them, 2 of them back in, and the suggestion for this board will be that Alex Sadoff would be the new Visitors Bureau Director for York County. We told her that the job was hers, but she had to go get past this crowd here first. So, Alex, could you just take a minute and introduce yourself and, a little background and stuff like that, please?
Yeah, my name is Alex Sadoff. I grew up here in New York, graduated from York High School in 2019. I then went on to study secondary education at the University of Kansas State. Directly after my college experience, I moved to El Salvador for a year and taught statistics and pre-calculus there. And I made the choice to move back to York because I love this community. I want a chance to give back. I feel like it has just given me so much.
She brings a lot of energy, which was nice. Youth and energy is outdid me and Sally,
Right.
which wasn't hard to do,
No,
was
it
it,
wasn't
Sally?
hard to do at all, no.
So, we had some goals that we want to make sure we're getting back out into the communities and and just get a nice fresh face and go. We really appreciate everything Bob has done for us over the years, and now it's just, as they say, time to turn a page and move forward. The start date we had kind of talked about would be after Labor Day, the Monday after Labor Day, and which will be kind of a, normally we have our employees come in and do a full, but it will be a little bit because Cheryl on a commissioner day, she has more things to do, so it'll be kind of a two-part for Alex. But with this board's approval, I would like to hire her starting Labor Day and move on from there. She will essentially wage-wise take over where Bob was at, and then over 90 days work up just a little bit. So, and that we talked about. Any questions for her, guys? She can handle it. Go ahead. She is a family that, as you heard the last name, is, I know, 3 generations now after I met her 2 weeks ago, and really like it.
Perfect. No, that'd be good. This will be a hourly position?
We will turn it, during our budget talks, we will turn it to an hourly because the salary may not fit as of January 1, so it'll be time just to turn it over that way.
Very good.
Yep. I would make that motion that we approve Alex as our new Visitor Bureau Director.
Second.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We will be seeing you more.
Perfect.
I like
Can't
it.
wait.
Okay. Next up, discuss and act on a secondary liquor license for the catering for blended, so I say that right, it's a catering for blended distilling. Blended distilling operates as, I don't know if many of you know, it's just up in, off of Highway 34 and N up there. And this would be adding to it. So at this point in time, the public notice was in the paper August 15th, and we do allow for anybody that wants to come forward and talk for or against this, and then the board will take action after that. So this is for a, like I say, a catering addition to their liquor license they already have. So anybody from the public that wishes to, Ken? I don't see anybody get up. Gentlemen? I don't see Derek isn't here either this morning. I don't think, no.
Make a motion to approve the addition of the liquor license.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott.
Yes.
Groats.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay. Next up is discuss and act on paving projects. I put this on here. The wordage in what we can do with the ARPA is we need to be under bid or contract to finish off all the ARPA funds. I hadn't heard anything else come forward. I've been in conversations with Harvey about different things over the last year or two, probably, and some of the issues brought up were some blacktops that we as a county own, and so we talked about 3 in particular to try to get in under bid before the end of the year. They don't have to be completed till the end of 2026, but we would have to be under contract. And one of them would be out in front of the county shop.
Right.
That runs east-west. The city has part of 25th, and then we take over by the fairgrounds in there, right?
There's a little bit on both ends of it.
Okay.
Is what there is. From Delaware to the railroad tracks is city, and there's a little bit, from my understanding, of where the lines are right on the west end of it also. I tried to get a hold of James. I didn't get contact with him to see if they had, whether they could tie in and do help with it, or do those parts, I guess is what I was looking at.
Yeah, because they've paved up to Nebraska Avenue from from Lincoln
Yes.
Avenue to
And then
Nebraska
they went
Avenue.
just a little
Little
bit
bit
east
further.
of there.
Right.
So depending on which map you look at, some of it says that's where the city goes, others shows it further east. So, gray area.
And then the second one would be going out from the country club to connect to the bypass. That one we put a patch on a couple years ago when we did the other
Yes.
paving projects. And so that would be the second road. And then the third road would be out on
Road G.
G, not H. I was gonna say H, but
From-
G.
30, from the railroad tracks to Highway 34 in front of Clutie Steel. Because with that bigger building, you're gonna get more trucks hauling stuff in, you're gonna have more trucks hauling it out. It's gonna get more traffic and it's going to need some assistance. So,
And Mr. Clutie has put a huge investment into York County by what, I don't know if anybody gets out there very much, but there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and he's put a huge investment into York County. And I think having a good road to help out would be good. So that being said, Harv, those three projects, did at one time, and I didn't bring my papers today, did you bring yours? Do you go with that? Kind of an estimate.
and this is just a wild guess.
Right.
But I'm guessing they're probably, all three of them are gonna lay somewhere in the $250,000 range is what they would do, just a guesstimate. Because I could not find the estimates that they had, so. And when I talked to the engineer, his thought was to help bring these in with another county that was doing smaller projects and see if we could make it more attractive to get somebody to come to do them all, even though it would just be with perhaps Platte County, perhaps here, to try to get them tied together. So that was his thought.
So on the, I know the last time we talked a little bit about fire sprinkler, I did visit with fire sprinkler people. They thought that it was gonna be too tall of a task to get this in bid by the end of the year. It's something we need to work forward to, but there would be more logistics in figuring out what's all there and designing and going that way. And they thought it would be just quite a task to get that done. I still wanna continue on with that one, but this would be one that we could do. Sitting there, looking at the ARPA, there's gonna be somewhere between $500,000-600,000 in that ARPA fund. Harvey had mentioned about the highway buyback. This morning, we talked about a couple $100,000. So if those three came in there at that range, we would be okay. And even if we had to supplement them just a little bit through inheritance, I think we'd be okay. So any questions on that? Because that concept, that idea.
I want to make sure I understand right. From the railroad track, I'm going back to Delaware.
Yes.
And county shop. From the railroad tracks, Delaware to Road 25, that's the cities. And then there's just a little gray area at the corner there.
Right.
And then it goes past Fairgrounds is the counties.
That is where the gray area is. Because if you remember driving out there, they have put concrete out to the east of.
Yes, they have.
And if you look on one of the maps, that showed that's where the city line was. On others, it shows it down where the speed limit changes.
Okay.
And so we have to clarify that, but it would be silly not to have that included for that little short stretch if they could help us do that.
All right, so here's my next question. Corner of Road 25 in Delaware to 34, going north. Who's responsible for that road?
That's ours.
Drive down it. The edges are falling off and there is no shoulder. The white lines are the shoulder.
Right.
That's gonna be a problem soon.
And it can be thrown in, but, you know, we're talking
That's
about
just-
more, we're talking about a mile there, so
Yeah, I
you know,
know.
if we wanna spend more money, we can do that. You know, but that's,
But I'm just saying
Right.
it is a problem that's starting to show because I drive down it all the time. I see it.
So, I got questions around the funding side of it.
Thank you.
So we got roughly between 500 and 600 in ARPA,
roughly.
and highway fund buyback is,
About 200,000.
so,
I would like to keep a little of that for mastic and crack sealing material, because that's what I've been buying out to do the mastic and crack sealing each spring.
So we should be using somewhere in that 150 to 200,000 potentially of ARPA for this project?
No, more of the 500,000.
Yes.
I thought you just said the project was
Two-
gonna be-
250
per
apiece.
Oh, per piece.
Per-
That's where I
per
was
section.
lost.
Each one,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha. That's the piece I was missing.
And that's
That's
years of experience
Yeah.
guesstimation until we know, and we could ask,
And once the bids would come in, who knows where it's going to be? Because small projects aren't cheaper.
Yeah, for sure. But you haven't had any conversation with the city as to,
No.
that's my biggest issue. We get a bunch of pieced together roads, especially right on the edge of York, which further causes other issues down the road.
I'm trying to think back when we first started talking about this, and I got the original estimates for all of them around town. And I thought for some reason we were over $1 million for those, if I recall correctly.
I think that was with
With Delaware.
25th all the way out to 34.
Well,
too.
yes. that
Yeah,
would be
Delaware all the way out.
Delaware, 25th Street, Country Club, West 4th Street. Yeah, I think that was it.
Mhm.
No, and Road G, because I had Road G in there simply because of what we'd already talked about. And I do not remember that number for sure, so do
Right.
not quote me on it.
Right.
And I could not find my papers this morning to verify this.
And some of this I found out in the past by asking questions when I wasn't sitting in his chairs. The state says they will do things and then they don't do them right at those corners. Because they've taken care of that road well. It goes out to the bypass on the nose, goes out. And then right at the corner, it's a mess. But that's the state's supposed to do it and they just don't do it.
So this would essentially be getting the ball rolling to get bids. It wouldn't be any commitment of any kind. It'd just be getting the ball rolling to get bids and specs and figure out where that line is out on 25th Street and going that way. I think that if things go way south, you know, when we're looking at 500,000, it don't take long, as we've noticed with the truck and trailer in the budget and with the piece of equipment we bought, the motor grader. It don't take long to spend that type of money. It just putting it towards infrastructure seems to be a wise move, but you know, that's obviously up to this board too. But that's really what this is to get hard direction, to get these numbers to get it going. Any other questions?
Are you wanting a,
Yeah, just
Vote
a
and-
vote to move
move
forward with the bidding process
Right.
on some
To
of
move forward.
paving projects.
and I think that, I mean, part of that, and you're already headed that direction, but to your point, seeing if we can't bring the city in to do all that. So yeah, I think that moving forward to get bids to see where we're at and see if we can't partner with the city, I would make that motion.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Thank you, Leroy. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay. I'm sure we'll be talking more, Art. Thank you.
Guaranteed.
Okay, next up, we don't get to do this very often anymore. We used to do this a lot. Discuss and act on pledge security to York State Bank, QSIP 912828YD6 in the amount of $1 million York State Bank, apparently, our funding has grown into that. Megan has got some more money in there than what we usually had. It's secure up to $250,000, just like everybody else's FDICs. The other institutions that we deal with has got this pool that is pledged pool that takes care of our monies in there. And like I say, Daniel, you probably remember doing a few of these pledge securities and taking them back. So this just is, we need to make a motion to a pledge security York State, so they cover that $1 million. We actually have, I think, about 1.1, but the first 250 is covered under the other, and we need this pledge security. So, any questions regarding that? Do you know, Mary? Do you know if this is by resolution?
It
Did
seems
she
like
supply
possibly it
something?
is.
She
And
did. It is
the,
by resolution.
the email does say resolution.
Okay. All right. So it is by resolution. So I'd entertain a motion to adopt a resolution.
So move.
Second.
Thank you, and thank you. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
On.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. And I think currently, CDs there are doing right at 5, if not just a little over a 5 on that too. So she's kind of had them spread out throughout the community, which is a good idea also. Okay, next up, discuss an act on the compliance exam engagement letter from Regier Carr and Monroe. We already did the audit and we did the budget one, and this is the piece that if we do not have to have the single point audit, then that's where this will kick in. Which, as you've seen by the numbers in here, it's $4,000 to $6,000 compared to, I believe the single point was 10 to 12 is what the number was on that. So this is just the same as we did before. To discuss an act for me to sign this agreement, if we would, please.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions regarding this one? Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
On.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay.
Josh.
And Josh, you ready?
30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds. We can get taken care of, discuss and act on adopting a resolution to set preliminary levies on political subdivisions within York County. And this is an annual thing we do this time of year. They turn in their preliminary levies, which is basically their budgets. Kurt is ready to set, once we get done with the Board of Equalization today, he's ready to set valuations, which would give a firm number to the levies. And then, what is Daniel, about or around October something, we end up setting the levies.
Yep.
But if they don't turn in a pre like this, and they have to change later on, they can't change without setting the pre's, without having this in here in front of us right now. So, and this is by resolution once again to set that. Entertain a motion. You seen all the numbers? Or did you work through them? Any questions?
Make a motion to approve preliminary levies.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any other questions? Discussion. Roll call, please.
Bowman.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
On.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. You ready?
Yeah.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So the reason why we're here this
Name.
morning, Josh
I'm gonna
Gillespie.
make you both say your
Yeah,
names.
Josh
I'm gonna
Gillespie,
do it.
York County Sheriff's Office.
Jordan Dixon, York County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes. So the reason why we're here this morning is we are looking at switching commissary companies and going through and starting with a new company called Sterling. Should make the process of commissary a lot more convenient. But the reason why we are here this morning is so that we can have the board's approval to open a new account at Cornerstone. We would like to start fresh with a new account, transferring the current existing balance from the account that we have, the $2,000 that was set by the board years ago when we initially opened the account. We would transfer that money into the new account, including any current inmate balances that they would have would go into this new account, and then we would start from there. This would take place October 1st, and I'll let Jordan talk about the advantages of the new company.
Yeah, the new company, right now, the way it sets is all of the staff handles bond money, commissary money, phone time, everything like that. With this new company, that kind of takes our hands off of it. The company provides a kiosk at the main lobby, provides a kiosk cash point within our booking room, where they put all the money into there, and it kind of takes our human error out of it and eliminates some liability on the sheriff's office and obviously on the county as well. So when in conversations about this, it makes sense to start with a fresh account, transfer the existing $2,000 that the board set, and then anything that's left in that account that is not current inmate balance would remain in that account for 2 years, and then we would mail out debit releases to the leftover amounts to former incarcerated people, and at the end of that 2 years, that remaining balance will be remitted to the treasurer. With this, I mean, anybody that I've talked to about this, it makes more sense. It makes the most amount of sense and the most logistical sense to start on a fresh account. So that's really the gist of it.
So then the old one just gets, after it gets expended, or, any money that's turned over to the state as uncollected or anything like that, we just...
It would go to unclaimed funds, so any checks that would be outstanding would go to unclaimed funds. We would remit that after the 2-year time period, and then all of that would be, and then essentially we would just close that account at that time.
Just disbanded.
Okay. Yep.
As far as, our other places have, did you say it was Starlink?
Sterling.
Sterling Commissary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and you've got references, or
Yep.
you've talked to others that
Yep.
use them and happy with their
Yep.
services and
Happy
all
with
that
services,
stuff.
it makes it easier for staff. I mean, obviously there's different things on they offer different products than the current commissary company does. I think from getting with the times, it would help things out in eliminating some of the legwork that has to be done, and kind of
It helps with man hours. So with the man hours, because of the fact that we don't have to manually enter a lot of the stuff, the softwares then talk to each other, which is really, really advantageous, like he's saying. And then when they're loading money, we're not taking that through the window. They can actually load it right directly into a kiosk, and then essentially the money is just taken from that point straight over to the bank. So there's a lot less handling of cash funds of inmates that are coming in, a lot less that's being put on their books. They don't have to wait for somebody to come up to the window to actually put money on somebody's books. They can do it right there in the lobby. So it's more convenient for the people that are coming in to visit people. It's more convenient for our staff, makes it more effective. It's way more seamless.
I would say the only caveat to that, if somebody's we have somebody incarcerated now that's $850,000 bond. If somebody brings $85,000 in, that's probably not all going to fit in the kiosk. So we're still going to be handling that money, but there's going to be supervision over that handling of that money to make sure it gets to the safe location.
Okay. When they come over and explained it, it sounded like a no-brainer. I mean, it doesn't cost the county anything.
No. No taxpayer funds. Yeah, it's going to be, and not only that, but I believe it'll save us time and effort.
Improve stuff. So it's just a matter of, we just have to approve opening an account. I would assume the signatures on the account.
Signatures account will be the same signatures that are currently on the account.
Right.
So it would be, those same people
So authorize those to have
Yeah,
to
and if you would
sign.
just authorize Jordan and I to open the account, we would be then sheriff. So if you put our three names, one of the three of us will get over there and get it open.
Right, and
Yep.
they'll want to see that in the minutes, probably.
Yep, they'll want to see that in the
They
minutes,
usually
correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
do. Is the clerk on that, or treasurer, is there,
I think on the commissary accounts, it's only members of the sheriff's office that
Okay.
are actually signers on the account.
okay,
Yep.
perfect. Any questions for, not about this, there is, so don't run away. Entertain a motion, guys.
Motion to approve, you want all three of your names in the minutes?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, sheriff, I'll just let you write them all down.
And Josh,
Josh
Jordan,
and Jordan. Yep.
Paul and Josh.
Yep.
Yep. To open new commissary account at Cornerstone.
Perfect.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. We held off on vendor claims. I didn't take the time yesterday to call, I wasn't sure what shift you were on. But the new vehicle under the sheriff's department,
Correct.
is that the last of the three?
That would be the third, so that'd be the last of the three, correct, yes.
Okay.
And, yeah, go ahead.
That's the one that's actually would be coming out of the budget that
That's
we
the one that
haven't
would-
quite approved yet.
That would be one that would be coming out of budget. If we need to move it to federal funds, we certainly can.
But it's in,
What's that?
It's
It is
in.
in, correct, yes.
and
So what happened was, as you know, just a brief explanation, the last time that we ordered the Explorers, it took us a year and a half to
Right.
get them in. So this year, we started with the same timeline, and I called and talked to both of the representatives and said, hey, how long is it gonna take us? And they were saying, well, 6 to 8 months. Well, that 6 to 8 months actually became 4 months, so now we're on an earlier timeline than what we had ever expected. So we assumed that they were gonna be coming in later than they actually did come in, and now the next time that we order, we won't order till, we'll give it a 4-month timeline. We're just guessing at this point.
Okay.
Because of supply and demand, it's been crazy. If you've tried to order a vehicle, everybody would understand this, especially in the last 2 years, it's been, when you wait a year and a half to get one, we're thinking, okay, we're gonna have to wait a year and a half again. But they said 6 to 9 months. They told us September, October, which would have fit our timeline perfectly. And here we are in the middle of August going, hey, we got vehicles in for you.
Okay.
So,
Well, I wanted to know that for sure, Josh,
Yes.
because I wasn't sure where we were at
Yeah.
on vehicles. So we're essentially, for your department, this being approved, or done buying vehicles for the year then, because then that's the
yes,
third
that would be
one,
yeah,
right?
that would be the vehicle, yes. But we still have to replace the one, as we talked about in the last meeting. We still have to replace the one that was wrecked. but
The
that-
wrecked one.
But that will come out of federal funds.
Kind
That
of
will
a
be a
different
federal
one.
fund vehicle.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, so when we get back to it, when we do, and not to be too critical, but then it's
Sure.
like getting that cart in front of the horse, we haven't
Yep.
really adopted the budget
Correct,
yet,
yep.
and here we have that.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
vehicle sitting there.
And that's why we would try to shoot for October, November, going through. We know that we're going to have to replace something, depending on, we knew that we had funds available federally, that we could go through it even,
Even though that's
Yes,
the
yes.
same way. So yeah,
Exactly right, so
low
yes.
communication.
Right, yeah,
and
communication, yep.
Go through it. Okay,
Yeah.
any questions other than that?
No, I think that covers it.
Leroy?
Do we need to, is there federal forfeiture funds we could use for this vehicle today?
We could do that and pay for the last vehicle, the wrecked one, out of that's an option, that's up to you guys. If you guys prefer to do it that way,
I don't know.
I don't have an issue, you guys can recode it.
It's really the same thing, because the
Yeah.
budget truly hasn't been adopted yet, and that federal forfeiture hasn't been, so it's kind of the same thing.
Right,
The funds are there regardless.
correct.
It's just that,
Yeah.
and it's a timing issue.
well,
You know,
we're right
you
in the
don't wanna
middle of
be-
that, we're kind of in that limbo area between July 1.
Right.
When we function as if
Yes.
we are under, we always assume that we have about what we had the year before, or, right around that number, so that's why we try to function the same way.
We just haven't truly, that's why we don't like raises, we'll talk about those, but
Right,
we don't
correct.
adopt those till
Yep, yep.
the end of September, 1st of October.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, I just wanted clarification on that one this morning. I think everything else is fine. Okay,
I would make a motion that we approve payroll and vendor claims.
thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please. And you can get back, and thank you
Yes,
for the DARE classes that you did.
absolutely.
Boom.
Rhodes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, and we are real close to board equalization, so we'll just take a couple minutes before Kirk to come in here, because I don't think we have anything else that we're just gonna blow through quick.
Do you have an executive session?
No, it's always on. Yep. It's always on the
Oh,
agenda.
it's farther down before. It is always on.
And when we do get into the board equalization, the tax list corrections, well, announce that, that will be pulled, so all we have is the property protest. So Kirk should be coming in here directly. We got a couple minutes if you need to stretch your legs. We will recess briefly as a board of commissioners and get going at 9:30. How's it going, lady? Adopting. Adopting.
I'm adapting.
Okay. Anything? Thank you. Communication. Sir.
I had told him to come and let us know, even though I called Daniel yesterday and found out the situation with Gresham. Okay,
Oh, okay, sure.
so that's why I'd like you to come and tell us all.
And
He told me for an hour.
did you read the email about Jack? About Jack? Did you see the email?
Yes, I saw that.
Okay.
Yes. And I have a question. Hired for us, right?
No, it's not department head.
Okay. That's what I thought. I was like,
This is department
yeah,
head.
I was like, uh-oh, was it? If it was
It'd be
him-
nice to,
If it was him, we'd have to.
let's talk meter, although I think I've met her.
Yeah, we have.
And we'll have to do, we're not gonna do, department head or deputy, well, we're gonna do one deputy wage. But we're not gonna do department head, we'll have to get those reviews.
Oh, yeah. This one?
Yeah, cause he won't be around, isn't it you two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to do a review for him. Where do I? Yes.
We will, yeah, Cheryl will have it. Cheryl will have it.
I already have it on my.
Don't, are you disappearing?
Yes, for a second.
All right, make it a second. Who?
Because I saw it coming.
That would be.
Today. It's gonna be late. That's the one thing that I've never got
It
anybody
is,
to
getting to
do
that time.
what I do. I mean, I can kind of do a little what Tammy does, but we've never had that redundancy. So I'm trying to get it to where everybody that had stuff in other than what came in this week is gone. And so, taking a lot. Yesterday was my follow-up appointment for kidney stuff in Lincoln. Got that one, and also everything's fine there. It's kind of funny, you know, that name sounds familiar. He's my boy, that's been here for a long time. I used to carry mail here in town. And the doctor was talking, and then he said,
Hi.
Yes. He's just a character, so I got two back and lost one.
He lost it.
said it'd only be a second, but he stopped and talked to a couple people on the way out. He went past his second.
There's a hard copy of that list to send out.
Awesome, thank you.
I have one, and Lori has one as well. I printed one off for him.
Okay, perfect.
They're probably like NPPD. Okay. All right. Yeah, so NPPD sells.
Lori brought this back in too. We'll take a break and try to get some copies for everybody before we tell them of this, to make sure everybody's got this stuff. Okay, we will convene as the Board of Equalization. And you ready? We're on. We're on, Mary. Okay, roll call, please.
Groves,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Present.
Sykes, absent, and Overmeyer.
Yep, I'm here. All right, open meetings law is posted on the south side of the chambers, is also in the hallway outside of our chambers and on our website. Proof of publication for this meeting was in the York News Times August 15th and also on our website. Next up, we need to review and approve the minutes of our July 23rd Board of Equalization meeting.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groves,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes, and there isn't a change to the agenda. The changes, the tax corrections will be dropped from this agenda. And then we will just have the property protest. So we need to adopt today's agenda.
Move to adopt.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Groves,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes.
All right.
Kurt.
Good morning. Herb Lilligren, York County Assessor. These protests in front of you today stem from the action that you took on July 23rd. New board notices were sent out to those affected property owners. They have till September 4th to file a protest if they don't agree with the action of the board. And so there have been so far 8 protests that have been filed. I have 6 of them before you today. I believe I sent you all a document that had their protest and then an agreement form where the protester and I agreed on what the value should be. So
And all those were signed, but the one was an email response.
the one was the one was the email. She got back to me yesterday afternoon. So I was hoping that would be okay for you guys. I don't want to make her come back in just to sign a document real fast. So.
And you mentioned 2 others.
2 others, one's for a grain bin. That property owner told me that they was gonna get me some more information. And then the other one's another ag building, outbuilding. So we could probably take those up on the 3rd of September during next meeting.
Well, I was gonna say that the clock is obviously ticking from when they received them. Was it a 45 or a 30 day that they had?
30 day.
30 day.
from when the notices were sent out.
Okay, so does that fit if we don't on the 3rd?
I would really like you guys to take care of it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as long as everything's in and ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Because in the next meeting, it'll be the 17th, right, of September.
Right,
And that-
then someone theoretically could bring in a protest on September 4th, and so then we would just have to
Okay.
work with that one on the 17th.
All right, perfect.
I'd like to have these all cleared up by the 3rd. And I'll work with the clerk to get notice out to these other 2 taxpayers.
Perfect.
So,
Any questions for Kurt on these in front of us? And we should be able just to approve these.
make a motion to approve the protests that are listed there.
And if you want to list them by number, you sure can, because there are 2 of them that are gone. I mean, the number 2 and number 6 is off the list, but if we want to, seeing as how we have the spreadsheet, if we want to list them by number, that'd be great.
Make a motion to approve protest number 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8, based on the assessor's recommendations.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion regarding this? Roll call.
Bowman,
Yes.
Groot.
Yeah.
Todd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Kurt, can you briefly touch on the tax list corrections? Will these be coming back?
They'll come back on the 3rd as well, or as soon as they want to get the last half of their taxes paid and then make the request for the refund. So I said, that's fine. So once they get that refund letter back into the county treasurer's office, then we'll hopefully get that done on the 3rd, if not the 17th. That's not, there's no urgency on that one. So.
Okay. And then, of course, we do not have public forum on this one, so we had a testimony basically for Board of Equalization in the Board of Commissioners meeting this morning, and I believe you've had conversations with Mr. Kane. Certification will come in today.
Right.
Once we're done now, you'll go and certify the numbers, and those will all be done. Have we heard from any other communities regarding loss of value or anything like that?
No, and I haven't sent anything out. What Mr. Kane provided you was what was his own research, so I don't know if
Okay.
any other community has looked into it like he has.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Why would we see a drop in valuation like that?
I'm still looking into that, Andy.
Extremely odd.
Yeah, I'm looking into that one yet. I just have, between this protest season and trying to get things ready to get certified, I haven't had a chance to really look at it. But we'll try to get an answer to you guys too.
Do you foresee the potential of that changing and going back up?
I think next year, once we get everyone on the new manual, I foresee that going back up again.
But why would it went down if there's basically nothing's changed?
Again, I don't know, I'll have to look into that for you.
Okay.
Because it looked like, through the conversations we had yesterday, our personal property is gonna boost ours as a county overall, but they wouldn't necessarily have that like we would have.
Right.
So,
Does a bond play any part in any of this when a community has a bond or not?
No, not on the values, it wouldn't.
so just look into those numbers and visit with
Yeah.
Mr. Kane and make
Sure.
sure that we're all together on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Do that.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Kurt. Okay, at this point in time, that brings us to the end of our Board of Equalization meeting. So we will adjourn to that, and we will go back up to the Board of Commissioner, reconvene as the Board of Commissioner. And we have a couple items left on there, and that's discuss and act on setting wages for county employees, and budget workshop are the main two, and then finalizing decisions on our budgets. So on the setting the wages, the deputy wages and the department heads, I would like to hold off. I know there's a couple reviews that did not get done, and I really think it's important that we get those reviews done for department heads. So we will pull those, and all but one deputy. We have a new deputy that we would like to set. So I would like to get some copies, so everybody has the same copies of this. So we'll take we should be able to get some copies done in 5 minutes. Take a quick 5-minute recess and get that done, and make sure we all have the same information in front of us. Right, Mary? Mm-hmm. Okay. All the budget workshop information you got, did you get the final one now? I deleted all the other ones to not confuse myself. I didn't know if the right ones were, and then they ended up, the last ones I sent wasn't, there was a couple changes yet, so what we sent yesterday should be, or what Mary sent last night, should be the percentage.
We discussed the ARPA fund in executive session at some point.
Sure. Contractual types of things we can call it.
I would really like to, with what they've got going.
So we're gonna hold off on all the wages except for the deputies, correct?
No, we're gonna set wages that we set.
Okay,
All the wages will be set in the budget by then. The wages we set we'll discuss today, not department heads, and only one deputy.
I'd like to have some conversation around that, being short office space and, things like that area that. I know you can't squeeze anything on it yet. There's not.
Your president.
Well, not the school. That was the first one was 7.
Until we got early, when I first got involved in that, they probably thought the windows were
Gal was sitting in front of us.
Oh, really?
Extras, I guess.
I know, it's so long. There's a lot of stuff in there. Was that one just sent out? No, that was on, I think, so it's before I started.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I just started looking at it till like July.
He also
Started prior to the license, I started looking at that. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And bad stuff. All right.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. No, curiosity. Just, he wasn't there training.
Benedict and Bradshaw didn't go down because then that affects the levy, how much they get. And they're trying to do stuff, and they have people wanting to put money into that downtown. They need it to develop things because people are moving different places, they're doing different things.
That's one of the very valuing things growth. Or maybe attempt to grow.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's been trying for 3-4 years. So they were working with the group out of Kearney. I went to a meeting. They pulled the old blighted word on the people of Gresham. And you know how well York took it at first. And I finally, after they about had everybody riled up and ready, I finally said, I'm going to help you guys. I said the entire town of York was blighted at one point. And everybody's like, what? It's the word. You know, those guys didn't know. You don't just hammer that word on them. Maybe that works with big corporate people, but small town, no. They came in their suits and ties too. I was like, oh. Wrong.
They needed to go to Bighorn, have lunch, and see what their work was.
You think?
Hopefully it's better.
Yeah. My problem is I can never get there when they're open. Because if I go at night, you know what's going to happen. Lunch don't work for me. Of course, during the winter. The other guy I work with is already starting to do other stuff than mow, and I asked Alan Snap, I said, Alan, does he know it's only August? It's not October. He goes, I don't know. It's kind of scaring me, like he's going to want to quit early.
So for
I said, well, that's all right with me, because when he quits, I quit. He's like, no, that's not good at all.
You know how it is. I know what I want.
Can you reach it? You can't pick it up? Did you do that? He's on there. He's on there. He just went over to ask him, is there anything I can do to help you with this?
Thank you.
Thank you. Look at this.
Okay, we will, you ready? You are. We'll reconvene now as Board of Commissioners, and we will take up setting the wages for county employees, which are set by the commissioners. And once again, we'll hold off on all but one deputy. We have one new deputy that was just sworn in just here recently, so we'll go ahead and set hers, and we can take care of that one first, and then the others we will set at our September 3rd meeting. So, and the recommendation we have for that one is for Lindsay Hayden setting that deputy's wage at $23.50 an hour, and that will be for not only the remainder. Once again, our payroll cycle is essentially first pay period in October through the end of September, and this will be for right, Mary? For that whole
To start immediately.
24, 25. Yeah. So,
For the fiscal year 20.
yeah.
Were the aging already set though?
No. This one will just handle this one, the one right now,
Oh.
the only deputy right now.
That's the only one we're talking about,
Right,
right?
right now. We'll just set them separately by motion.
Is it by motion or resolution?
It's by resolution.
Resolution.
Motion to adopt a resolution for the wage of the deputy clerk.
Yep,
Second.
thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Groves,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay, now in front of us then we have the roads, which we control, communications, which we control. Did Cheryl have to grab, probably didn't grab Brian's. We
Did
have
not,
maintenance.
sorry.
And under maintenance, we have one employee, we have the director of maintenance, Brian, employee one, and then a second employee that does the cleaning at the offices. So basically, on maintenance, we don't have that wage in front of us, but Brian is actually at his 90-day, probationary period. So it kind of fits right in with the new wage, and looked right at 3% on Brian, and that's what he put in his budget for his help, which once again is the full-time staff here, and then the cleaner, aging services, and Lori's office and the extension up there. So those, we have communications, roads department, and then Lori's office.
Yep.
Do we have one from,
Do we do just one at a time?
yeah, we'll talk about them. Do you remember, do we have one from extension? From the two employees at extension in the budget?
Cheryl
I
looked
see.
through the folder again this morning, did not see any more.
We got it, 'cause I got it on
From Tanya. On the raises,
For the extension.
do you have that by email? You can find it.
Cheryl
I
would
seen it,
have
'cause I was
all the
shocked by a few of them.
That's all she had.
Okay.
That one.
Thank you. Brian's budget sheets.
That might have been the
I'll go ahead and take up communications first. Communications, as you know, the director we just hired, and that was Mindy Gherkin, and her wage will be set. She was hired right at $70,000 annually. The deputy wage in there, she will not have a deputy right away, so that deputy wage during our budget process was lowered to accommodate when she does have one come in. And she looked across all the current employees, and the wages that you see in front of you is a recommended 3% wage increase for the current employees. That budget did, as we talk about the mixture of wages and budgets, that budget did come in this year about $100,000 less than it did last year for both entities. So it obviously is on a nice downturn. That happens because of equipment. That also happens because of any extra revenues in there. We hold like 200 in cash balance in there, and anything above that we dump back into lessen the cost of that 1 million plus facility to run. So those are the first ones would be the communications. Like I say, Brian in maintenance. And then we have roads department and aging services. Roads department, do you got anything to comment on those? Daniel or Harvey, do you have anything to say on those if you'd like to at this time?
I would like you to pass what I presented.
Okay.
Yeah, I think me and Daniel have been through these with Harvey at least 2 times.
Okay.
I move to approve.
On the roads department,
Yeah.
second.
Okay. So we're talking, Leroy, are you with me on this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I am.
just making sure you can hear me over there. I know
Yeah.
you could have scooted one closer, switched
I know.
the names around
I
and
know,
stuff.
I thought about it.
Okay, so we are talking about the roads department. That been moved and seconded to adopt what was presented.
Is this where you guys were talking about trying to get people up to a certain amount as a minimum? That's just working towards it, or?
No, I think we've already addressed that. This is,
Okay.
yeah. I guess a lot of the conversation we had with Harvey is making sure we're taking care of the people that need it, that are doing the work, the people that are carrying the ball for the county. Thing I like about how Harvey did his wages, it is performance based on the raises. It's not just a percentage across the board. So I feel real comfortable on all these today. It seems like we're competitive in the workforce. I think, as Harvey mentioned, we've got a few people applying now. We're filling some seats with some good candidates. So I think we're in the right direction as far as the wages. So.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. Okay.
All right, Randy, back to the extension. What I seen was what Daniel sent with the current wages, not with the increases. My apologies.
What was that now?
It's the current wages. It's not the.
That
Oh,
email
okay.
that was sent out.
Yeah. It's what
Our
Daniel, the spreadsheet Daniel put together for us.
Okay, so
I
we
can't
will,
take credit. Cheryl.
Okay, sure.
we'll reach out to Tanya and we'll have those for the next meeting then to make sure that we have something for them to.
I gotta talk to her about a different issue. I'll bring this up.
Okay, that's perfect. And then the other one we have, and Lori is here, we have York County Aging and York County Transit. And Lori, these wages that are presented, you go through the same review process and that.
Yeah, those are a combination of the cost of living and evaluation based.
Okay, and then the bumps that we took this year to try to
For the trip.
entice more people to apply to go that way.
Yeah, I think that was my question.
As far as the bumps.
Yeah, the bumps we already made.
Right. Yeah, because we put them at 15, I think we started at 15, right?
Right, and that was in order so that when, next year when we're hiring new people will come in at 15, and the people who've been here will be above 15 with the pay rate that's proposed.
And I believe the top, on this sheet, the top are the transit people,
Yes.
and the bottom are aging. Any questions here?
Make a motion to approve the York County Aging and York County Transit wage adjustments.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Odd,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. So then down to the last two, we've already taken care of through the the visitor, we won't have to do that one because that's a new one. So we have the maintenance and communications, once again.
So, yeah, I guess,
And I can answer as far as the review process. I know I did Brian's, and Brian did a review on his too.
okay.
And then the people in our call center, it did get, with Mindy being on maternity leave is the word I'm trying to think of, until the end of September. There was no performance reviews done on these individuals. But I encourage anybody to stop in there at any time and see the job they're doing and running short-staffed. I feel very confident that what she recommended was fine to keep up in that endeavor that they do for us. So, and that is one that, once again, we split that with the city there. So, and I think Mindy, once she gets back on the ground and gets going, things will be rolling just fine. It just happened this way this year.
Right. Motion to approve communications wage adjustments.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rhodes,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Obermeyer.
Yes. And then the last one would be our maintenance with Brian. Like I say, I did his review yesterday. I think he's working well, taking over a position that had been held for 9 years, and he's fitting in very well with the courthouse community and the other buildings. Unfortunately, he's not feeling good today, so he's not around today, but I would recommend that we go with the wage increases on both Brian, Alberta, and Maria for the 24-25 budget year.
Move to approve the maintenance salary increases.
That's good.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Obermeyer,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay. Unless I missed one, we will do deputies and department heads. So we'll need to finish up those in the next 2 weeks. Think of any I missed other than Tanya?
So-
You're gonna
Yeah.
talk to
I'll
Tanya.
talk to Tanya.
Perfect, because we have 2 up there that we need to deal with. Okay, next up then, the budget workshop. You should have had the latest and greatest numbers sent to you yesterday, and the comparisons as they came in. Jill, as you know, was here last week, and she was here for 2 days, middle of the week, and gone Thursday, and then back on Friday. And between her and the clerk's office of treasurers, I think we got the budget kind of looking towards the finish line. So I don't know if you had an opportunity to review, if you want to review the analysis page, the comparison page. We kind of went through them step by step last time. What you want to do? If you have any questions, there is a couple department heads here. Currently, what we're looking at, if we send this proposal forward, we're about 1.2, 1.3% over last year. We will not be participating. Once again, if we send this forward without any major changes, we will not be participating in a postcard meeting this year. The only change that I see, other than a few little pieces in here we have to talk about yet, is I would like to see us to grow our cash reserves a little bit more. and transfer some more money from inheritance to grow that cash reserve up. The inheritance is gonna be under attack again next year. They're already having intern studies in the month of September on, you know, what it'll look like without us getting that money 29 and after. And so I just think having that starting to transfer some of that across, it gives us the nice cushion that we felt this year from the interest income we made. And then it gets it out of the inheritance fund. It's less visual. They being senators seem to focus in on what was being held at that fund across the state of Nebraska. And we all know that we use it. I feel like we use it for the right things. So moving it over to and transferring it. I visited with Jill just briefly, and I think Daniel just a little bit about transferring another 500. So currently we're sitting at 750,000 in cash reserves in our budget, but growing that to 1.25, just to have that nice cushion in there. And now the downside to that is we don't have budgetary authority to spend it. It's just our cushion when funds run low. But in the future years, you could always budget back in to spend it, you know. And with the inheritance fund being at roughly 5.7, I think was the numbers on here. Now some of that's spoken for.
Right.
We have a motor grader coming out of it, and then we have the fiber that we're going to put in after the first of the year. If we get awarded that, will come out of it. So technically we got about 5 in there, and not the 5.7 or whatever that number is. So any questions, guys?
We wanna move that, we wanna pay for that truck and trailer for roads out of that.
We can.
I think it's a good idea to move that money because our state senators have no idea how long it took to get those numbers to where they are. They think we got it every year, but also so that you know, and you can tell other people, a lot of counties budget that inheritance tax every year and use it. And this county does not, and from what I understood when I came on, will not do that. It's one thing, it's an emergency fund. It is not. This is what you budget. You check other counties and you will see that they budget whatever they bring in inheritance every year. So it's good that we put it somewhere where Lincoln and Omaha can't take it back because it's hard to get it back west once it goes east. So.
And Andy, if we want to pay for that, we'll need to make more transfer into, because currently it's sitting at the motor grader transferring in.
Yeah.
So we would have to bump that figure up to pay for that truck and trailer.
Right.
And that's, you know, those are the little pieces we just have to clean up before our budget hearing and that. And then as we look, you know, like say, if we look at that comparison, as we look down there, we have some that are a little bit more. We have some that are a little bit less. Department heads, I think, did as good a job as they could presented with the raises and different things. One of them that I will draw attention to is we have in the past on anything that is grant applied, we have a couple of them that meaning juvenile and adult diversion, that, you know, through conversations with the state, we set the budget, but then the budget's actually ran by county attorney on that one. So, you know, the idea would be, if we set this budget, we need to make sure if we are funding it or if those grants are funding it. You know, and if it's the grants, is it grant only, and stuff like that as we talk through this also. I think a lot of times in the past we have taken the position that if the grant comes in, that's great, go for it. If the grant doesn't come in, then it just doesn't happen. You know, without the revenue side, it doesn't happen. So those are some things that we need to make sure we're clear about in our minutes and in our discussions. Go ahead. Do you want to say something? Surely somebody wants to say something.
Where to start?
You got a lot of notes?
And you guys, with those programs that we talked about, your current budgets reflect any potential needs from the county already in those, correct? Outside of the grant money?
I don't have
Or do you not have
anything from the
anything?
county coming in, it is 100% grant.
Tristan?
Yes, it would be all in there.
And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, the juvenile is also grant funded. I don't
Yeah.
think there's any county funds going in there this year.
We just have
Maybe that cushion.
the 20,000 cash reserve in there that we put in there.
Do you wanna stay on the general fund?
Sure.
First,
You got your list.
So there's the county attorney's budget. We had talked to them. We're gonna talk again. I'm not sure if that one is finalized quite yet.
Okay.
Data processing, I think we got that one figured out. Planning and zoning we did, we talked about that, so that should be reflected in the new numbers. Data processing, I don't know from the county attorney's side. Chris was gonna get me some, numbers and requests. I don't know if I've got that from him yet. We had talked about moving the county self-deductible
Into the insurance.
into the insurance. Do we want to do that?
Yeah, I think that.
I think
it's a
it would be
cleanup. Yep.
Yep,
Into whatever that is, 614 or 613, whatever that number is,
614.
out of miscellaneous.
Yep.
We'll have to make sure we take good notes because Jill is not watching today.
Okay.
County self-deductible moved from miscellaneous to 614.
Yes.
614.
That one.
And I think she had that as one of her notes also.
Okay, yep. So then I guess as we move, did anybody else have thoughts on, any other thoughts on the general fund currently? So then the next one would be roads. What's our thoughts and feelings on buying a truck and trailer, and if we are, if we leave that the way it is, or if we transfer from inheritance?
I think it's a purchase that we have to make to stay. Otherwise, we're just gonna we'll have a snowball effect of equipment costs all at once.
There's already a lot of maintenance costs every month, so.
If inheritance tax can bear that, I would pay for it out of there, would be my thoughts.
I'd probably just move it. Just transfer it, leave it in.
In the budget,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, make the transfer.
Yep.
Right, make
Yep.
What I'd recommend.
I would agree. Does that?
And it can bear it.
Right. Does that put any thought in your mind on what you want to do for the cash reserve? Do you want to stay at the 500 and also do the 275 in the inheritance.
Yeah, because to me, it's not like we're spending or losing the
Correct.
money, we're just moving it to a different account.
Right.
We're losing the budgetary authority to spend that 500, but once again, with that, with the reserves that we have in there, that's not a big issue.
Yep.
Yes, and,
Okay.
and, you know, I mean, equipment needs, I know that we do a good job with the motor graders in the roads department, or at least as good as we can, one every year. Truck and trailer, I can't remember when, it's been a while since we bought, I've been here, but it's been a while since we bought a truck and trailer. Yeah, you have to think too.
It's a no number, isn't it?
Well, I think it was before 2020, it was before then. So it was back like 17 or 18 or 19 at the latest is when we got the last truck and trailer.
And we had a couple unfortunate accidents years ago too, that I think kind of prompted us to get some changes, but you know, it's when these things are, we ask them to be on the road all the time.
Well,
And that's a guesstimation on bid, that isn't a state bid, that's a
no,
guesstimation.
that's an estimation of how, where the trucks are with conversations and what Andy's experience was, and then the expected increase in trailers.
So back to the inheritance, at the end of the month, we had 5.832. And like I say, we've got the 360 already transferring out to cover the motor grader, the 400 that we committed to Glenwood. So there's, you know, takes us down to 5. And if we, you know, we move across another 5, we're down to 45. But purchasing in this, we're still on the other side of $4 million sitting in our inheritance, which, you know, tax asking of $7.4 million. That's kind of a nice reserve. I mean, we should be okay.
And the last truck was 18.
Was it? Okay. And the one we want to retire?
15. And we bought one in 15 and one in 16, and they're both over 500,000 miles. And if you look at them, you will understand.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're just moving on down through them, that would, next one would be adult diversion. We, in the email, the expenses that were sent out by Mary yesterday, I believe we have that, those updated expense numbers.
I believe that'd be the, there we go. Yeah, and that would be one that, you know, I know that Gary and Tristan are working really hard to get some grant monies. And if those grant monies come in, then, you know, they're gonna have to work hard to get the staff, and they're really kind of an unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there they are, but, and I think it's great that we have the grants to control these costs for us, because as you know, there's other people wanting to control our income through property tax. So I would say that I'm fine with it. It just grant supported.
Grant funded, correct. Yep.
Grant supported.
The only thing else with that I can see coming down the pipe is we are short office space.
Yeah.
So, but there is some opportunities with maybe partnering with the school on moving some office space around. So,
There's always opportunities.
yes.
Opportunities cost money. And the grant money is it, have you seen any detail of how expenditures can be made out of your grant money? Is it for personnel costs only? Is it?
It's, my experience tells me that there's a lot more flexibility in the COSA grant that is in a traditional grant. And the meeting that we had 2 weeks ago, the individuals from Washington were here, again indicated that there is a lot of flexibility in that particular COSA grant.
And that budget that was proposed on the county side is the budget that was proposed to the COSUP, so they have the exact same numbers in either.
Time-wise, the paperwork says October. Verbally, I've been told it's going to be more November, December before we find out. So actually getting things up and going would be first quarter of 25, probably March 2025.
Yeah, I would think it'd take a while to get up and rolling.
Refresh, and I don't know if you're prepared to speak to this, we have talked about it before, I think. What, as far as personnel, what are you viewing for that?
There would be a sub-award with a local health agency for a licensed alcohol drug counselor. There would be a sub-award with an agency that would be in the same realm as Well-Being Initiative out of Lincoln. So there would be 2 peers that would be employed in York, would be working through York. And then there would be 2 individuals that would be employed by the county for the actually running the adult diversion program. So in total, it would be 5 individuals. And I just, when I say, but again, with this particular grant, it can be molded and shaped how we want it when we get more time to act. So that 5 could be 4. And so we're not molded into how we have to, the way we submitted the application, we're not married to that when we actually come time to execute the grant, the plan.
And office space wise, Four Corners and the Well-Being Initiative already have commented. It's not the plan to be in the courthouse, it'd be at their department or somewhere that, is there too, so. Not all 5 employees here.
Right. Some of it's probably kind of an unknown right now. It just really is. And if I heard you right, when the judges were in town, this is new, maybe the only place in the state of Nebraska, or is the only place in the state of Nebraska?
I think the way that this is set up, we might be one of the only ones, might be the only one in the country that we set up to the detail that we have this one to go.
Which kind of shows you, if we end up receiving this grant, we got a problem.
Right.
Yeah, because they're going to throw money at where there's problems, and then it kind of reinforces
I think we're already seeing the problem with our fund transfer for the jail this morning and all the talk of needing to expand that space. I think in the public comment discussion, I think hit the nail on the head on that topic, that we've got to do some of these other things to curb a bigger problem down the road.
And I made mention of that last week, that we are a rural county, but given our location, we have suburban issues. Right. So it's just where geographically, logistically, where we are.
Right. Any other questions on those? More?
Probably the next note would be on the budget requests.
Inheritance?
Yes. So this would be the agencies that came before us and have requested assistance in funding. So it'd be Fund 2700,
page 68 on line.
So through talking in the budget committee, this was kind of the numbers that we came up with for proposals for those agencies. For CASA, 42,000. Blue Valley Community Action, 11,000. Hope Crisis, 13,000. Blue Valley Behavioral Health, 5,000. Adopt a Pet, 5,000. And did we get a request? Did we ever see anything from City of Henderson?
No.
Okay.
Did anyone reach out?
I even looked on their, like request for their money last year. Sometimes they put it on that. They just said, thank you for this donation.
Maybe it might be paid for by now too, for the ambulance.
Well, this was what we were helping to help us over in that area. I know Bill was the connection, and it seemed to me at times he did have to rattle their cage just a little bit to get one, so, I mean, we haven't said it yet, we could.
I'll put that on my list to contact them as well.
That'd be fine.
It would be Connie at the city offices.
We go to the next page. This would be the city library. After discussion, he felt we could go to the 17.5 on that one. And then page 70. This would be for YCDC. After discussion with the budget committee, also speaking with Lisa, we propose 76,000 on YCDC, and then Southwest Development District, 7449.
449.
7449. And in the past with YCDC, we had done a commitment, you know, I mean, it wasn't anything we signed, we just committed. Would there be any appetite to do that again over the next 4 years?
Right.
To give a commitment to go to 76 over this year, and then in the next 3 years, strive to get up higher.
Right.
We talked about that figure just a little bit too. Did you visit with Lisa about that too?
I did. She is very happy for whatever contribution we are able to make. We discussed that as we go forward, it might be something where she could, had some ideas on how she could put together some numbers and present material basically to do a presentation to, if not the full board, at least a few of us at a time, to kind of show what her goals are on the next 5 years or so. And because I had talked that over with her as well, that there was an agreement that we need to continue to fund, and you know, coming up with an agreement of how we would do that over the next few years. So I think that I think everybody's on board to do that.
Okay. And then, of course, these are all, just to remind everybody, these come out of the 2,700, which is our inheritance. And, you know, if they are successful over the next few years to get our inheritance taken away, obviously these discussions are going to be a little bit harder to have, because where do they fit in then at that point in time? Do they go to the property taxes, which is our only source of income? So right now, we're good. And that really, because then the next funds, the 2910, 2913, 14, 2910 is the one we share with the city, and 13 and 14 will go away over the next couple of years. That's our legacy funding that we would get from the Public Service Commission. 2913 is our next generation funding, and that funding is right at $56,000 this year that we're getting in from the Public Service Commission. We still get some wireline money, although that has gotten less over the years. I think roughly we're looking at $36,000 on that one. With Glenwood coming into the area and providing some phone services down there, they're going to start having to remit some money, but it's really the same houses, whether you had Glenwood or you had Verizon or whatever. So those funds should be done. And then, of course, the 2915, the emergency manager, we share with Seward, Gary, and that's about it. I mean, we have our bond to pay off, but it's pretty standard. Any other questions? Is everybody good with what Daniel was recommending out of the 2,700? Any comments on that?
Yeah, sorry to go backwards, but
That's fine.
Page through pages and then it X'd me out, so I had to go back in and go through them again.
That's fine.
On the one with all the 8, the cost of the Blue Valley,
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
the Hero, what did you say costs would be? Because I'm looking at 45.
They were asking for
That's what they
45.
asked for.
I don't
And-
have a paper that says 42.5.
I don't either.
I don't have an email.
Correct. No, I'm just
No, you're
proposing that
That's what we're
currently.
proposing.
I'm throwing that out there right now.
Okay, so with the 8, were all the others the same, what they requested, or did you get them all?
No, they were all.
That was my question.
Correct.
Thank you.
With the exception of Adopted Pet, we did go with their full request, because they do offer a service that we have to have available.
Yeah.
And so if they were to say, you know what, we're not going to do it because you didn't fund us, then we have to hire somebody to provide that service.
And the one difference with CASA versus the other one are, that is a figure that I won't say is misleading, but they are an invited guest into our courthouse,
I
which
just wanted to make sure I
is a big,
was looking at wrong numbers.
Right.
I was like, did you say a different number than I'm reading? Yes, you did.
it's a big savings that they're here.
They will take every dollar they can get because grants are drying up everywhere, so.
Yep. So is everybody good with the numbers that were presented in the 2,700? Other than Andy's gonna reach out to Henderson.
I'm happy it's increased, that first one, but I take double. Because it does save the county money. Don't need as many lawyers' hours. Because every child I've represented, my lawyer has not come to all the meetings, so we can't charge for them. So, and if there was not a CASA there, they would be charging those hours. And It's lots of hours for every kid.
Any other comments? We'll kind of leave them as
Discussions and then
we'll leave them as presented, then, and so then we will look at the 3rd as having our final budget, our hearing. It has to be kind of an open-ended, so we're more than likely meet in the morning and then meet in the afternoon, because by state law, we can't put a timeline on it. We have to be, like I say, somewhat open-ended. We can't have it and stop it, or we'll see how the agenda lines up, and maybe we'll have it at 10. We'll just see what's all on the agenda. I know we'll have some protests and stuff like that. If there's anything over the next 2 weeks, let's communicate. We'll communicate these numbers, and Andy, when you hear back, we'll get that information to Jill and kind of go from there. You're going to have another meeting yet with County Attorney's Office, and if it's into next week, then we'll see if I'm available at that particular time. Other than that, does anybody have anything? There's been a lot of hours spent on this over the last month, so it's good to see it come to a conclusion. Okay, well, there's really nothing to discuss and act on the final piece as far as setting. We just have to make sure we get the hearing notice out and rolling, Mary. And with the holiday weekend, we have to make sure we're on top of that. And then once Kurt sets the numbers today, which tentatively we were looking at 4.9. Last year we was 4.7. There was a lot of personal property came on, 4.9 billion. So 3.9. I'm sorry, I'm saying that 3.9 compared to 3.7. A lot of personal property came on, and it just shows that the inconsistency that can happen, because they're giving us growth through this LB 34 measure. But for a small county like us, it could be a roller coaster ride too. So, with that being said, if we have nothing else, we'll go to committee reports and we'll call it a day.
We'll need to do fee reports as well.
No, nothing on fee reports. They're just presented.
Okay, nothing on fee
Yep.
reports.
Committee reports, anybody? Leroy?
The Veterans Office now has a helper that 3 of us interviewed. There was a veteran lady that came also with Nick and I and interviewed 2 people, and we chose one, and she accepted the job, and she's sitting in there right now if you'd like to see her. And I cannot think of her name, so I feel really bad.
Angelica.
What?
Angelica.
Angelica, that's right. So we interviewed her here for one job. So I think she'll do quite well.
Good.
I've got a Blue Valley meeting tonight. It'll be the first one we've had in a few months, so nothing to report yet there. Big thing outside of that, I think we already touched on it, is we're changing some of the CDL requirements out at the Department of Roads. And the way we're advertising for those positions is actually bringing new applicants in. I know we've got a couple new ones hired that I'm pretty excited about, so things are going in the right direction out there.
Good.
From that standpoint.
I'll also say with the veterans that they did make the move from one place to another, and it's a little jumbled right now, but he said they can get it straightened out. He thanked the Sheriff's Department for their help, but they move way too fast for him. He wishes they would have went a little slower.
Anything else, Andy?
No, I'm good.
Daniel?
Budget discussions. I was not able to make the YCDC exec board meeting last week. Yeah, I think that sums it up.
Well, we spent a lot of time over here with Jill in budgets and visiting Daniel, myself with other department heads and stuff like that over the last 2 weeks. And we do want to thank the department heads for cooperation, elected officials also for the cooperation to try to get the budget where we were at. I don't know how well everybody is following what the state legislature is doing, but it looks like LB 34 will make it over the finish line. It's really not accomplishing what they want it to accomplish. They're restricting 2 entities, the county and the cities. Somehow the largest consumer of property taxes got talked about at kind of the beginning of it when it was LB1, but then we didn't hear from them again, and that kind of baffles me just a little bit. We have certain exemptions in there that I question, although Gary probably doesn't know it yet, but the county attorney's office is exempt, so he'll probably be the new head of the roads department. So we can drag the roads department underneath the county attorney's office and find a way around that rule that they're setting for us. But I don't know if anybody else watched it. They just aren't accomplishing what they're going after.
I'm watching it every day.
And it's been very contentious down there. And we'll abide by whatever rules they pass. We'll have to. We have no choice. But coming in September, there's interim studies about how to take our inheritance away and how to do this and that. And I don't know that they can come down and live in our shoes and still pass the rules that control us. They don't seem to do both of those things. But like I say, it looks like it will pass the finish line. There has been some opposition, and NACO has been very opposed to the 0% or the slice. Slice has averaged well over 20 years, but then there was 2 or 3 years and they were 0 or less. And what do we do during those years? There is some carryover clauses in there. Like I say, the county attorney's office, the public defender, the sheriff's department, corrections will be kind of exempt in those areas. So it will be a lot of change if they get it across. But once again, there doesn't appear to be any relief for property taxes.
Right. Yeah.
That's the funny thing.
One of their goals, or what they said they would be saving, I know what the goal was, but what they're looking at doing is cutting $530 million out and only saving 3% in property tax. $530 million in services for 3%. Think of what your property tax is, 3%.
So, and then our senator had an article in today's paper I'd encourage you to read about where did the gambling money go. And sometimes when they pass these things, they come up with these figures, and then the figures don't live up to reality. And now where is that? And it hasn't panned out the way they thought either. So, just pay attention to it if you feel compelled. I guess there's a day or so to call, and I'm sure Daniel and myself reached out to her several times last week, and probably will one more time. But
I heard the Senator Hughes several times.
I don't know that it's, I don't think it's going to change anything there. So enough said on that. That's been enough pain over the last. But other than that, Four Corners Board will meet here directly. That budget's going on. That isn't until the 1st September, and we'll take care of whatever we have to over the next week. You'll be gone for a few days. I'll be gone for a few days, so Mary's in charge.
There you go.
Does that sound all right? Okay.
Me and Andy can take it on.
You and Andy.
I'm gone for 4 days.
Oh my
All right.
gosh, it's me and you. Take on the county.
Good.
All right. Do we have anything else, guys?
I'm on a big red lawnmower in a park somewhere.
Thank you. You guys